Recently, I was entrusted with the solemn responsibility to be an officer in the North Carolina Army National Guard. And as I read about the oath that I was going to swear, I realized that I was not swearing it to a man or a person, but to a document, the Constitution. Also, swear allegiance to the North Carolina Constitution to defend that. So as I began to search for information on this North Carolina Constitution, I couldn't find a whole lot about it. So that's my first question: is where can I find more information about the amendments that have been done to it and its history? Also, my other question, following on what Tony Allen had addressed, it is vital for the continued survival for the principle of secession, which our country was born out of, to survive, and for the respect by the federal government. But how can we be respected by the federal government when our state constitution itself says, and let me read it, it's Article 1, Section 4, the state shall ever remain a member of the American Union, the people thereof are a part of the American nation. There is no right on the part of the state to secede, and all attempts from whatever source or upon whatever pretext to dissolve the Union or to sever this nation shall be restricted with the whole power of the state. Now, I'm not by any means advocating secession, but that the principle of it is a power of the people. So, my question is, where can I find out more about the history of the state constitution, and how can we strengthen our state sovereignty when our constitution is worded in such a way?
Okay. Well, I'll just start off by trying to answer first where you can find out more information. I'm assuming that you have found online the document itself, the North Carolina Constitution. The only thing I could offer you is to just do a random Google search. Google's my friend, and just see what you can come up with. And that's not something, I certainly have read our Constitution in North Carolina, but I have not done any, extensive research trying to find what else may be out there as far as when it was written and other historical information. So Google would be the first thing that I would suggest. I'm sorry. I thought you had thought another suggestion was being made. And as far as the statement that you made, I was a history major. And my guess as to why that statement is in our Constitution, and I'm going to also make a guess, and you may know the answer, that a lot of other states probably have similar statements, and it probably all dates back to the Civil War, and probably is a decree of, we will not secede from the Union again and have an act of violence in the United States. As far as the federal government respecting us or not respecting us, first I think as a state, we just need to stand up and be willing to say no to them on some things. And a good example is No Child Left Behind, which I think was mentioned in here before. We've always constantly heard the phrase, no child left behind, and then immediately after that we hear unfunded mandate. Well, has North Carolina ever considered just telling Washington, we're not going to participate with your mandates, so they're not going to be unfunded anymore, and so be it. Just take your plan, we don't want nothing to do with it, and keep your money, and we'll just operate our own education system, which, as I understand, we can do. Yes, we'll lose federal money, but if they're unfunded mandates, then, so there you go, that solves that problem. And I think if we would start to do things like that, they would recognize us. Personally, I don't think Washington, D.C. fears any state, really. I don't think they think that any of us have the guts to stand up to them, and I think that they feel that they have the right, which they don't, but I think they feel they have the right to issue any decree or anything that they want and tell us to do it. And until we get to the point that we're willing as a state legislature to say no, or a governor to say no, I think that's the only way that we can solve the problem. So I agree with you. I don't think they respect us or really any state, to be honest. And do we need to change that line in the Constitution? I don't know if it's so much that we need to change that as more than we just need to take action. I think that's the thing that would be the primary thing to earn the respect that you were describing.